Hey, this is Brian, and today we're going to be installing a rear view camera and a SmartView on a 3 Series convertible. The first thing we're going to do is disconnect the negative terminal of the battery. In these cars, the battery is located under this panel. So to access the battery, first take one of your BimmerTech trim tools and turn this fastener a quarter turn, and that'll remove this door. Then you're going to see 9 of the same style fasteners. So with these fasteners, you insert your BimmerTech trim tool, you twist them 90 degrees, and then they'll pull right out. So go ahead and do that to the rest of them. So once you get to this point, there's 2 fasteners here and there's 2 fasteners over here. So go ahead and continue to remove these. Then once you have access, go ahead and gently remove the negative battery terminal. Always be really careful if you're using a drill. Next, what we need to do is we need to access the trunk handle to install the new camera. So go ahead and remove the 16 plastic fasteners that secure the trunk liner in place. And this is how they work. You just gently pop up this one piece and then the entire thing will come out. So like I said, there's 16 of them. All right, next what you want to do is grab the emergency release handle and go ahead and push in the tab and then pull out that wire and set that aside. Then take the end caps and just gently pull them to the outermost part of the vehicle. Lastly, go ahead and remove the 2 T25 screws that secure the trunk handle in place. Now that all of that's been removed, we're going to go ahead and pull down the trunk liner. So go ahead, we're going to pull it down very carefully. There's a light here. We just need to go ahead and disconnect that. Very carefully go in, disconnect the light. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove the old handle and install the new camera. So you'll notice that on the new one, it's very similar to the old one. There's 2 clips on the top and there's 3 clips on the bottom. So there's 2 ways to do it. So sometimes it's easier to reach your hand in and then you can press on the tabs and just pull the handle out. So sometimes that works on some cars. For these, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get your hand up there. So what you can also do is use a BimmerTech trim tool, reach your hand up and apply some pressure, and then gently from the front actually pull those clips out. So then you can actually just go ahead and pull the handle out from there. So once you have it to this point, you want to go ahead and disconnect that connection. Then get your new handle. And you're going to reconnect that same connection you just undid. You're going to feed the wire into the car. And then click everything into place. So when you're working with convertibles, always take note that you need a little bit longer rear view camera wire because you have to go a little bit further out of the way because the trunk is actually going to house the roof. Therefore, BimmerTech supplies an extension cable, which is really nice. So go ahead and secure this with either heat shrink or electrical tape. All right, now what you want to do is take that rear view camera wire and feed it behind the carpet. And pull it down. When you're reinstalling the carpet, go back through and make sure that you're zip tying this nice and tight. But right now what we need to do is we need to get this wire to go through this hose right here. Then using needle nose pliers, go ahead and remove the bracket that secures the wire harness in place. Alright, so once you've removed the top bracket, go ahead and use a pick tool and just release the clips, pull them outwards, and then this entire piece will just slide right off. So what we need to do now is we need to feed the rear view camera wire through that rubber hose that we just showed you. So I'm going to show you an easy way to do it. So take a thin hanger or a thick wire, straighten it out, and then put a little bend on the end and cover it with electrical tape. And what that'll do is that'll give us a little notch to grab onto when we're feeding the wire through. Now using a pick tool, what you want to do is you want to separate the rubber from the plastic, so just gently go around and loosen that up, and then it'll slide right off. Sometimes when you're feeding wires through these tubes, it can be very difficult as the inside can be very tacky. So what we found is if you take just a very small amount of Vaseline and just put it on the electrical tape, that it'll slide in much easier. Okay, now what you want to do is take your rear view camera wire and then make sure that you have a good amount of electrical tape over it. Then what you want to do is either use another piece of electrical tape or a zip tie, and you want to fasten this to the wire that we just fed through. You always want to make sure that you put a piece of electrical tape over the plug before you tape it on, because what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit more Vaseline on here just to help it slide through the rubber tube easier. Okay, once you've done that, go ahead and gently pull it all the way through. And always be careful of the other wires that are inside. Alright, so once you're here, what you want to do is go ahead and reinstall this rubber with your camera cable sticking out. We're not actually going to go through this tube, we're going to just stay on the outside of it. Alright, so once you've gotten this far, what we're going to do is we're going to reconnect this rubber hose to the plastic, but we're going to leave our camera cable out. Okay, you can actually go ahead and snap that back into place. And then what we want to do is we want to go ahead and zip tie our new camera cable to this wire and feed it all the way along here. Alright, so right now our camera wire is about right here. So what we're going to need to do is we need to remove this plastic piece and this one right here. So let's go ahead and remove the inner one first. Over here where you can't see, but I'll show you in a second, there is a little knob where you just turn it a quarter way. And if you look straight down, you'll see a clip. These can be a little bit tough, just to give you a heads up. And there's one down the bottom, and you pull it straight up. So you can see here's the little knob that you grab and you twist it just 90 degrees. And then on the back, this is the one that I was looking at right about here. And then the lower one is right down here. So go ahead and remove that. Then take your trim tool and remove the 3 fasteners that hold this piece of trim in place. Okay. And then while you're here, what you should do is go ahead and remove the entire trunk liner. Alright, so at this point what we can do is we can go ahead and connect the extension cable to the camera wire, and I'm going to go ahead and use some heat shrink. Then continue running the cable. Just follow it as it snakes through here. Then just keep feeding the wire through as it snakes through. Okay, now I'll go ahead You remove this piece of plastic, and you just do it by gently lifting up. You can see that there's a couple clips that just secure it in place. Then take your camera wire and move it under the carpet. Just keep going ahead. Running it straight down. Now what we need to do is we need to pull the wire from the back of the car to the front of the car. So what we did is we went ahead and made a loop. So the first thing you want to do, these come out really easy. Just lift up on the back seat and pull it out and place it out of the way. Then what you want to do, we're going to actually be feeding the wire through this side piece here. So just go ahead and pull it out from the top down. You can see that this clip holds it into the top. A lot of times what happens is it'll actually stick in the car. So you actually take it back out, you reinsert it, and then you stick it back in. Okay, right here is the location. It's right above the power wire. So you're just gonna go ahead and pull down on the foam, and you can see light on my fingertips, if you can see in there. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our wire, our feeder wire, and we're going to stick that in there, and then we're going to pull the wire from the other side. Okay, now that we can see our wire, go ahead and take your rear view camera wire and continue feeding it behind. Okay, then take the end of the rear view camera cable, and all you really need to do is just loop it through, and then very carefully pull it back through. Okay, then on the inside of the car again, we're going to gently pull this through. Then go ahead and continue to run your wire along here, zip tying it along the way. And once you get to this point, go ahead and tuck the wire under the trim. And then we can go ahead and remove this lower trim here. Okay, and set that aside. And go ahead and grab the A-pillar. Then continue running the wire under the carpet and secure it along the way with zip ties. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to remove some trim elements so that we can mount the MMI. So go ahead and take your BimmerTech trim tool and gently place it in here. And gently pry up. Just be very careful as this piece of trim is very thin. Okay, place that aside. All right, for this installation, we need to go ahead and drop the glove box. So go ahead and remove the 4 Phillips head screws that secure the cup holders in place. All right, once you remove the screws, go ahead and pull the cup holders out and place them aside. All right, now take a T20 bit, and there's 4 screws that secure it in place here, and then there's 1 on each side. So go ahead and remove those. Next, there's 2 T30 screws. So there's one over here and then one over this way. We're going to go ahead and remove. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and lower the glove box down. And then what you want to do is just release a lot of these wires, and that'll just give you some slack to work, since we don't actually have to remove the glove box fully. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and remove the wood trim. So using your BimmerTech trim tool, gently pry it into the side so you can get a little grip. And then gently work your way
across the dash.
All right, so once you've popped this side of the trim off, you always want to make sure that you're taking the trim off as evenly as possible. So go ahead and reach through and then pinch on either side, and then you'll be able to remove the start-stop button. Once you get to the middle, what you can do is you can just reach behind and actually press this out, and that's the easiest way to get it out. Then there's going to be two connections, so go ahead and disconnect these, and then set this aside. All right, so once you've removed the start-stop button, and then also the button in the middle here, what you can do is just very evenly remove this piece of trim. The last thing that has to happen before we can install the multimedia interface is we need to remove these two T20 screws. So if you have a thumb driver, they come in really handy. Go ahead and remove these screws and set those aside. Then what you want to do is just gently rock the screen forward. And if there's any clips that are holding the wires in, just gently unclip them. And then you're going to see a video cable and then another cable. So go ahead and just disconnect both of these. And then set the screen aside. To make it a little bit easier when you're running wires, you just grab the climbing control. You can just go ahead and pull that straight out and then set that down. So right now the dash is completely disassembled and we're ready to install the multimedia interface. Before you actually do any installation with the multimedia interface, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and set the dip switches. For this car, because we're installing a rear view camera and a SmartView, our settings are going to be number 1 on, number 2 off, number 3 on, number 4 on, number 5 and 6 off, number 7 on, and number 8 off. Alright, so now what we need to do is we need to run the new video cable and the new power cable. So to do that, take your wire feeder that we used earlier, and you're going to just go ahead and insert it from the middle of the screen towards the glove box, and then you'll see it come out right down here. So here you can see my wire feeder. So now take the splitter that came in your kit, and what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and plug it in to the connection that was plugged into the screen, the black connection. Now what you want to do is grab the power cable. This is going to power the multimedia interface. What you want to do is go ahead and just double check which connection you need to clip to the splitter. And then what you want to do is on that wire feeder, you want to go ahead and secure this end to it with electrical tape. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull it through. Once that wire is secure, what you can do is just gently guide it through. You remove the electrical tape and then go ahead and connect this connection. Alright, now what you want to do is get your fishing wire again and feed that back through. Now this time what we're going to do is we're going to feed this video cable and the new video cable. So what you want to do is always compare the ends. If you notice, these ends are different and these ends are the same. So this end has to hook into the back of the screen. So we're going to make sure that we keep this up here. Then what you want to do is take these two. Alright, then with a piece of electrical tape, what we want to do is secure it to our wire feeder and then gently pull these through. So now what we can do is we can go ahead and reinstall the screen. So go ahead and reconnect that white connection. And then go ahead and put the video cable back in. Alright, and if there's any loose wires here from the splitter, you can go ahead and you can just tuck them back, and also any extra slack from the video cable. So once you have those in, go ahead and rock your screen back in. And then reinstall the screws. Alright, so while we're here, we're going to go ahead and install the SmartView. So go ahead by twisting on the two antennas. Okay, and then take the wire harness and go ahead and plug it in. Okay. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to mount the SmartView in this location right here. So just go ahead and take these wires and then feed them down to where the multimedia interface is being installed. Now let's just apply some 3M double-sided molding tape, and then we are just going to slide this in here. And we're going to mount it. Okay, so just go ahead and slide that in and mount it with the mounting tape. Okay, so once the SmartView is in and secured, you can go ahead and replace your climate control. Alright, so once you've routed those SmartView wires through, what you want to do is you want to take that power and ground wire, and you want to go back and you want to find the multimedia interface's power source. So you want to attach the red to the red using the wire taps that are supplied in your kit. To do that, you just slip it over and slide the other wire in. And you squeeze really good. Okay, close that up. Feels like we have a nice solid connection. And then go ahead and do that with the grounds as well. Okay, so now it's time to make all of the connections into the multimedia interface. So go ahead and plug in your power connection. And you can go ahead and plug in your AV in and out. Then your new video cable is going to be in LCD out. And then your old video cable, which is up here, we're going to do that one last, is in LVDS in. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to hook in the rear view camera. So go ahead and plug the white connection into the multimedia interface where it says rear. Then the RCA harness, what you're going to do is look for one that says rear C and go ahead and make that connection. Now take your SmartView RCAs, and what you're going to do is you're just going to connect the yellows because the yellow is the video feed. Then take the supplied audio cable, and with these what you're going to do is you're going to hook the other two, the white and the red cables in here, and then we're going to run this to the, then what we're going to do is we're going to run this to the center console to get audio. Alright, now what we want to do is we want to plug in the video in, and then we're able to mount the multimedia interface. Next, connect the IR sensor. And then the mode selection switch. Connect the video in. Then you're ready to mount the multimedia interface. Now what you want to do is take the IR cable and the mode selection switch, and you can just pass them through this area right here. Then what I did here is I just ran my wire feeder, and what you can do is you can just secure these on with electrical tape and then pull them down towards the steering wheel. And carefully feed them down here. And what we like to do is we like to mount the mode selection underneath the steering wheel here, but you can mount it anywhere you like, and also the same with the IR. You have to make sure that whenever you're using the remote control for the vehicle, that the IR sensor is in clear sight with the remote. So at this point our multimedia interface is fully secure. We secured it over here. And then one thing to always do is always test fit it with the cup holder. You always want to make sure that the cup holder is going to clear it if you choose this mounting location. That extra audio cable for the SmartView, what you want to do before you put the glove box in is just run it straight down. You can even do it with your hand. You shouldn't need any tools. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the glove box in, we're going to put the trim back in, and then we're going to show you how to connect the SmartView's audio. Alright, so now what we need to do, we need to get this cable that we fed down here. This is what's going to supply the audio to the SmartView. So what you want to do is you want to open up your armrest, and then inside there's a little tray on the right hand side, on the passenger side. So go ahead and take this out, and then if you look at it, you'll see that there's a bunch of holes. So through one of those holes, what you need to do is just get your fishing wire again. Go ahead and feed it through. Then feed your audio cable through. Gently pull it up. Okay. And then all you really need to do is just select the right spot where you like it to come up. I like it to come up as close to the audio jack as I can.
Is that good?
Yep. And then all you want to do is just put your tray back and then plug this into audio in. And once you have it plugged in, you can go back and you can pull some of the wire back into the car to get rid of some of that slack. And once you've done that, everything is fully installed. Thanks again for watching.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you may also like this one. Also, be sure to visit us online at www.bimmer-tech.net and feel free to contact us at any time at info@bimmer-tech.net. Thanks so much.